Hello friends, today we are going to start chapter 6 Statistics part 2. Statistics part 2 मध्ये आपल्याला दोन गोष्टी शिकायच्या आहेत. पहिली पिक्टोरियल रिप्रेझेंटेशन ऑफ डेटा आणि दुसरं आहे ग्राफिकल रिप्रेझेंटेशन ऑफ डेटा. नाव इन पिक्टोरियल फॉर्मॅटमध्ये आपल्याला शिकायचं आहे पाय डायग्रॅम. आता हा पाय डायग्राम काय असतो? व्हॉट इज पाय? पाय मीन्स इट्स अ बेकरी प्रोडक्ट, circular like a cake. Okay, based on that this diagram is called as a pie diagram. Why? Because in a circle we represent the data. बऱ्याचदा असं होतं ना की नुसत्या फिगर्स जर का आपण बघितल्या, म्हणजे नुसते नंबर्स बघितले तर आपल्याला कदाचित समजत नाही पटकन काय ते. पण जर का आपण ते पिक्चर फॉर्ममध्ये जर का रिप्रेझेंट केलं तर आपल्याला पटकन समजू शकतं. तर आपण बघूया पाय डायग्रॅम. आता पाय डायग्रॅममध्ये आपल्याला दोन गोष्टी शिकायच्या आहेत. फर्स्ट इज द कन्स्ट्रक्शन ऑफ पाय डायग्रॅम. कन्स्ट्रक्शन अँड रीडिंग. एखादा डेटा जर आपल्याकडे असेल तर त्याच्यावरून पाय डायग्राम कसा बनवायचा, आणि जर का पाय डायग्राम तुम्हाला रेडीमेड दिलेला असेल तर त्या पाय डायग्राम वाचायचा कसा, म्हणजे त्याच्यावरून त्यात काय माहिती दिली आहे ती काढायची कशी. दॅट इज कॉल्ड ॲज द रीडिंग ऑफ पाय डायग्राम. सो फर्स्ट वी आर गोइंग टू सी द कन्स्ट्रक्शन ऑफ पाय डायग्राम बेस्ड ऑन द डेटा गिवन टू अस. ओके, सो लेट अस सी फर्स्ट construction of pie diagram. We'll first see some examples and then we'll go to 6.1 exercise 6.1. okay, construction of pie diagram बघण्याच्या आधी आपण आधी बघूया. समजा हे सर्कल आहे, म्हणजे पाय डायग्राम आपण एका सर्कलमध्ये दाखवणार आहोत. सर्कलबद्दल आपल्याला काय काय माहिती आहे? सर्कलमध्ये एक हा सेंटर आहे ओ, आणि त्याच्यानंतर जर का दोन लाईन्स मी अशा काढल्या तर तो झाला सेक्टर. बरोबर, हा भाग सेक्टर आहे. राईट, फॉर एक्झाम्पल इफ आय राईट हिअर ओ बी एक्स, so OAXB is a sector of the circle and this is called as the central angle theta degrees. आपले पाय डायग्राम हे असेच असणार आहेत, फक्त इथे एकच सेक्टर दाखवला आहे. तर आपल्याकडे जेवढा डेटा असेल, जेवढे भाग असतील, म्हणजे फॉर एक्झाम्पल एखादा मुलगा आहे आणि त्याचा परीक्षेचा रिझल्ट आला आहे, मॅथ, सायन्स, सोशल सायन्स, लँग्वेजेस याचे मार्क्स दिले आहेत, तर मग मी ते सगळे मार्क्स एकेका सेक्टरने दाखवू शकतो. पिक्चरवरून आपल्याला पटकन अंदाज येतो की कोणता भाग किती आहे. डेटावरून म्हणजे नुसत्या आकड्यांवरून अंदाज येण्यापेक्षा द पिक्चर गिव्स अस द क्लिअर पिक्चर. ओके, नाउ लेट अस सी हाऊ टू ड्रॉ दिस. ओके, नाउ दिस इज द सेंट्रल अँगल थीटा. राईट, आता मला सांगा की सर्कलमध्ये, संपूर्ण सर्कलमध्ये किती डिग्रीज असतात? व्हॉट इज द डिग्रीज फॉर द कंप्लीट सर्कल? दॅट इज 360 डिग्रीज. राईट, सो वी हॅव द फॉर्म्युला. दिस थीटा इज इक्वल टू व्हॅल्यू ऑफ कॉम्पोनंट अपॉन total values of total of all components multiply by 360. right, so this is the formula for finding out the theta. Now let us take one example so that it will be clear how to draw or how to construct a pie diagram. So let us solve an example for constructing the pie diagram. The problem is the expenditure by a householder on different items in a month whose total salary is 7,200 is given below. Let us see, his total salary is 7,200. How he has expended this money is shown here. Total is 7,200. Now keep in mind, whenever this construction problems comes, where construction of pie diagram, you have to draw the table, proper table, okay? That means items, amounts, then proper vertical lines, okay? You have to draw a proper table for this. I am not drawing your proper table with scale and all these things, but you have to write down in a proper table. Now we have to draw the central angle for each component, which is theta degrees. How to find it out? Simple. We have formula theta is equal to component upon total of component into 360. So each time, every time, for every component, you have to take 600 upon 7,200 into 360. I will calculate for first and you are going to calculate the rest of the angles, okay? The first is 600 upon 7,200 into 360, okay? (30°). Okay, so here when you have the wider table, you can show these values here. 600 upon 7,200 into 360 is equal to 30°. Or if you don't have that much space on your paper, you can draw all this, you can show all these calculations below the table and directly write the values in the table, okay? So I am writing down the direct values on the table, 30°. Now please pause your video and find out all the degrees, okay? Pause your video now. So the answers are, the first I have shown you 30°, the second is 200°, third is 60°, 20 and 50. You have to check whether your calculation is correct or not. The total of this must be equal to 360s, right? So now, as you have found out all the degrees, now we are going to plot this on the pie diagram. That means we will construct the pie diagram. I will start with the horizontal line here. This is my baseline. Okay, the first I will start from here, 30°. I have taken it approximately here. You have to use your angle measurements and take the proper angles. Okay, 30°, then 200°. 200° will come somewhere here. This is 200°. After that 60°, then 20°, 60°, 20°, 50°. This will look something like this. Now you don't have to write the degrees here. What you have to show? You have to write the names. Okay, or you can give both, like the first is clothing, so write here clothing. Now one more thing, sometimes it is not possible to direct write the details in the pie chart. Why? Because the space is limited. Okay, you may not able to write this education and clothing everything here. At that time what you have to do, you have to show the arrows here, clothing. Second thing, when you have to show this food, okay, now pay attention here. I have committed a mistake. Deliberately I have committed a mistake because I wanted to show you. You should never write this 200 like this. but most of the students write like this. All your numbers must be horizontal. Okay, 200 must be written like this because they must be readable. Okay, this 60, no angle at all. 60, this 20 also. If you don't have that much space, you can write down in a small letters, but it should be like this. 50. All are the degrees, you should write the degrees. Okay. Now, there is one more habit. Many students write the name, like the food expense I have to show, they show like this. This is not the proper way of writing. I will show you how you are going to write this. Once you show the line here, draw a horizontal line and then write here food. This is the proper line writing. Okay. Then 60 degrees rent. Again, I can show like this, horizontal line, rent, arrow. I will show this line here, education, and then miscellaneous. Your pie diagram must look neat and clean. Okay. So this is the construction of the pie diagram. Very simple. The only hitch in this is you should not miss any of the calculations. While calculating the degrees, the arithmetics, the division and multiplication must be perfect. Check your answer if total angle is 360 or not. If this is not 360, that means definitely you have committed mistake somewhere. Correct it or check it all your calculations again. Okay. So this is the construction of the pie diagram. While drawing the pie diagram also, you should write all the degrees here, give proper naming. Now many times the students try to hatch it. That means they try to show by cross lines or hatch lines. I don't think it is necessary. It is not necessary. You will make the paper dirty. Also you will lose a lot of time in hatching. Okay. So don't do it. Just simple line work is enough. Okay. So this is how we draw the pie diagram. Let us solve one more example for the pie diagram. The marks obtained by a student in an examination are given below. The total marks obtained out of 100 in various subjects are as follows. Now just tell me one thing. Do you have to really write the formula and find out the theta? In this case, specific case, no, because the total theta is 360 and total of this is also 360. So 360 are going to be cancelled, and these are the angles direct. For example, here angles are same as the marks. Mind well, this is just because this total is 360. Otherwise you have to calculate. Now since we have got the angles, now it is very easy to plot them on the pie diagram. So let us draw this data pictorially on this circle. This is the center. I will start from here. So 85 will be somewhere like this. After that, again 85. Then 90 degrees, and then 100 degrees. Okay, you have to write properly. Marathi, English, Science, and so this is your pie diagram. Okay, let us see one more example so that the picture will be more clear. But in the next example, I am not going to draw the pie diagram actually, because that is your work, your job to do. Okay, I am going to calculate the degrees only, or we will just discuss this problem. Okay, now the data given represents the following information. Okay, and we have to draw the pie diagram. In this case, they are given the groups, like it is clear, as they are in percentage, the addition must be 100. The addition must be 100, right? Now we have got nothing to do with this, whether it is just a nameplate, it is just an item, it is just a figure, or it is a group. We have got nothing to do with this when we are drawing the pie diagram. Okay, now these classes and all those things are for the graphical representation, or generally for stats 1, for finding out the mean, mode, median. We do take care of this, but here you have got nothing to do with this. You are only concerned with these figures, and now you are going to calculate the angle theta. How you will calculate the angle theta? The component upon total into 360. That means here you will have 10 upon 100 into 360, and so on. So your first angle is definitely 36 degrees, because these 2 get cancelled, these 0 get cancelled, and you have only 36 here. So pause your video here quickly and find out all the degrees. Do it now. Okay, please check your angles. 36 degrees, 72 degrees, 144 degrees, 90 degrees, and 18 degrees. Now you have to, now your calculation work is over. Now you have to draw pie diagram. Now in pie diagram, you will start from the horizontal line, go on adding the degrees, name it properly, and your problem is solved. Okay, now pause your video and quickly draw this pie diagram. Now we are going to learn how to read the pie diagram. Look here, this is one of the pie diagram. Some degrees are given, and this is a pictorial data for the sports. The problem is, the pie diagram represents the amount spent on different sports by a school administration in a year. If the amount spent on football is rupees 9,000, that means on football 9,000 rupees are spent. And the degrees of football is 45. Answer the following questions. The first, what is the total amount spent on sports? Then, what is the amount spent on hockey, cricket, and how much more amount is spent on tennis than that of basketball? So the only information what we have is the angle and amount spent on football. Very easy. First of all, we have to find out the total amount spent. How you will calculate that? You know how to calculate these degrees, right? This central angle degree is equal to component upon total of component into 360. This is the formula we use. Now in this formula, if you put this data, that is 45 is equal to 9,000 upon x, let the total expenditure is x, into 360, then you can easily find out the x, which is 9,000 into 360 upon 45. Right? Calculation is very simple. 45 twos are so the total amount spent on sports by the school administration is 72,000 rupees. Don't forget the unit. So we have football, hockey, cricket, basketball and tennis, and the total is 72,000 and total degrees are 360. Now quickly write down the degrees. Hockey is 100, cricket 160, basketball 20 degrees and tennis is 35 degrees. Right? Now with this formula you can calculate this easily because you know the central angle here. Now you know the total. Let us find out one. They asked us to find out expenditure on hockey, that is 100 is equal to this component upon 72,000, because now we know the total, into 360. So we know what is the total amount. Calculate this, pause your video and calculate this. Similarly, calculate for hockey, cricket, basketball and tennis. All the values calculate. Do it now. So we have found out for hockey, for cricket, and I know you must have found out for basketball and tennis also. Right? Every time I am reminding, ज्या गोष्टींची गरज नाहीये ती गोष्ट करू नका. राईट? या इकडे त्यांनी बास्केटबॉल आणि टेनिस विचारलेलंच नाहीये. त्यांनी काय विचारलंय? What they have asked? They have asked how much more amount is spent on tennis than that of basketball. Of course, you can find out the amount for basketball and tennis and then subtract and you can find out. But in this case, you have to calculate two values, right? One for basketball, one for tennis by this formula. Then you have to subtract. That means you are doing three calculations. But you know that if you know the angle, you can find the amount. And subtracting angle is very easy. See, the tennis is for 35 degrees and basketball is for 20 degrees. The difference is only 15 degrees. Right? So how much amount more is spent? 15 degree more spent on tennis than that of basketball. Right? So if I know the 15 degrees are spent more, then I can directly calculate for the 15 degrees. Why should I calculate for basketball separate, tennis separate if it is not asked? They are asked the difference. So I have taken the difference of angle, that is 15 degrees. So this is the value required, 72,000 into 360. When you calculate this, you will get the value of the difference, which is equivalent to your 15 degrees expenditure. So pause your video, quickly calculate value for x. The difference is 3,000 rupees. So your answer, there are 4 questions asked. You should have the answer, detailed answer for every question. Don't forget the unit. At the end also, again I am telling you, there is no harm, there is no problem in finding out these two values individually and subtracting to find out the difference. But why to do 3 calculations when you can do just 1 calculation? Okay? So this is what the reading pie diagram. Shall we go for the 6.1 now? The exercise about the pie diagram. So friends, we have learned this topic thoroughly. We have solved some examples for practice. but we are going to solve all the exercises which are given in the book along with the problem set, then the HOTS, some paper solutions, everything we are going to solve. For further solution of exercises and problem set, please purchase our DVD. You can buy our DVD online by visiting our websites. The address for the websites or the place where you can buy your DVDs are given just below this video in the description. Thank you very much.